So my question to you is, how did your journey kind of start? And I guess my questions more specifically is, when did your personal development journey start? When did you become
Mm,
aware of what you wanted to do, where you wanted to be, or was it just day to day?
mm. Great question. When did my personal development journey start? It has started ever since I can remember. In every day, being raised in a polygamous cult in rural Montana in the wilderness, there were no amenities to learn sign language and stay in my comfort zone of having people meet me where I was at. So every day when my mom forced me to wear my hearing aids and she forced me to go to speech therapy, she would drive me out of the commune to a tiny town where there was a speech therapist, pushing me out of my comfort zone.
What kind of commune was it?
So it was a ultra religious Mormon or Latter
Mormon.
Day Saint branch. It was a break off of the Mormon faith,
Okay.
where they still practice polygamy, multiple wives. Mainstream Mormonism in Utah does not do polygamy. They outlawed that a long time ago. But my grandfather broke away and continued his own little sect. And so it was a very religious, extreme fanaticism. Um, and so it was ironic that I'm growing up in this tiny bubble of a cult, but at the same time, I'm being forced outside of my comfort zone every day as a kid,
Yeah.
learning how to read people's lips. I had to learn how to read English first and then watch people read it so I could read their lips and take the context of the conversation of what we're talking about, piecing together the vowel shifts, A, E, I, O, U,
Yeah.
and then just over the years, learning how do people communicate? What are their patterns? And so, to answer your point, or your question, I'm sorry, the self development journey has been ingrained in me because I live between worlds. I'm not fully of the hearing world, I'm not fully of the deaf world. I'm between two worlds. And being an outsider, I have had to watch people all my life. Watch
Because
them
you do hear, because I read somewhere 80%.
80%.
So
Yeah.
what? How does that? Can you describe it? Do you hear
The best way
something
to
or?
describe it, I hear percussions, I feel, even though I can't hear what's being said, my skull, my brain, I still feel sound waves like a bass or a drum. So I wake at the slightest murmurs. I can feel all those. But the sound, if it's a higher pitch, I don't hear it at all. But lower pitches, like a male voice, I can hear something if I'm in close proximity. Like if I'm in the same room with you and I don't have my hearing aids in, but you have a male voice and you say something, I'll know that you're speaking. And then I can turn and look at you and say, can you repeat that? And then I'll read your lips. So I'm a
Oh,
lip reader. So that's why I do the FaceTimes. I'm a lip reader when I communicate with people. I still rely mostly on lip reading.
and does the
And
hearing aid help you a lot then, or how does that work?
say again, sorry.
The hearing aid, does it help a lot,
Oh,
or?
the hearing aid, yeah, the digital hearing aid is amazing. Now that we have digital, because remember growing up, we had just had analog back in the day, but digital really discerned foreground and background noise. So I could
Okay.
actually figure out, oh, okay, that helps me hear a little bit better. So hearing aids definitely do help, but it puts me up, hearing aids put me up to about 60 to 70% of what normal people hear,
Okay.
but I still usually have to be reading their lips. And so with it all, with them, it sounds like the best way I can describe it from what I've watched and seen, it sounds like, what it sounds like when you're underwater
Oh,
and
okay.
everything's really muffled.
Yeah.
That you can feel noises around you sometimes,
Yeah.
but like everything is just so muffled and you can't really even make out what they're saying.
So you
That's the
also,
best way.
you really then, if that's how you heard, then you also really wanted to do the lip reading, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to connect and understand. And so learning how to connect with people, being an outsider, basically being a cat trying to make friends with dogs, learning how to connect with them.
Why was that so important though? Why not like play Xbox or PlayStation the whole day?
Well, what are we here to do as humans? To me, I'm here to connect. We're here to have the human experience, which is having intimacy, which is being able to feel. What makes us human is not our ability to think and analyze and be smarter than all the other animals in the world. What makes us human is our ability to feel multiple emotions at once. Meaning, I can hold sadness for a failed marriage. And at the same time, I can hold gratitude for all the things I learned about myself through that process. I can hold both at the same time. That's what makes me human. And so, yes, we humans have to be able to distract ourselves and turn off the brain and play an Xbox, watch a movie, check out for a while. It's part of just self-maintenance. But what we're really here to do is to have the human experience and be able to report back to the universe, to the mainframe, whatever you choose to believe in, information, data of what this human condition is.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're here to do. We're here to live and be able to report back. Because I think we're all just antennas. We're all just extensions of the universe. That we're here reporting the universe, helping the universe learn more about itself. And so that's how I see living in this world, that we're here to experience the human condition and to have real intimacy. Intimacy is not what the movies tell us that we have to play a role. Intimacy is being able to have a real conversation and say, okay, wow, I have a blind spot coming up. When you said this, it brought up a deep wound or a trigger in my childhood.
Yeah.
And I need it not to happen again. And also, I understand it's bringing up a great opportunity for me to go inward and do some healing. That's intimacy, being able to have a real conversation with a partner or a friend in your life instead of projecting onto your partner, oh, you did this, you're never going to do that again, and you're supposed to read my mind anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people think the soulmate thing is just people being able to magically read your mind. And you're just supposed to get me. Oh, wait, you're not reading my mind? What I'm hearing when people say that, and they talk about a soulmate, is people saying, I don't want to have to communicate.
Yeah.
And so it's funny that me, the deaf guy, I get paid a lot of money to help teams, corporations communicate better. Because I learned how essential it is, and I learned how to do it to get past the whole one-dimensional surface level communication stuff and find a way to really connect with people. So to answer your question, why do we do it? We're here to feel.
Yeah.
We're here to feel love. We're here to feel intimacy and have real connection with people. And I'm very fortunate that I get to talk about these kind of things with the basketball metaphor as a big Trojan horse coming in first to get people to suddenly say, oh, wow, he's been through a lot. He's paid a price to be on a stage talking to us. And now he's going to pivot and not just tell sports stories, but use those experiences to help us all learn to communicate better.
Yeah.
So that's my big passion. I love it.
I like what you said about the whole soulmate, that what you hear is people actually not wanting to communicate, but it's kind of what you said. If you are like the soulmate, you have to work to constantly communicate.
Always.
Yeah.
Constant communication, constant humility of knowing that you are always going to have blind spots.
Yeah.
That you're always going to be activated, that you're going to have archetypes. So the Greeks, to talk about the archetypes, Carl Jung, Joseph Campbell, the archetypes, we all have archetypes in our psyche. And when you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with 2 of their main archetypes. But then when you get married or move in with them, 10 other people move in with them.
Yeah.
And you're like, who is this person?
Yeah.
And who am I? I'm bringing in stuff too. We're all bringing in our own baggage to every relationship. But do you have the humility to know that your blind spots are going to be exposed until the day you die?
Yeah.
And do you have the humility to know that you don't have all the answers? And do you have a real soulmate who is meeting you at that level, who has the accountability to own their stories of what they bring into a relationship?
Yeah.
Most people, when they want relationships, it's like, oh no, I have a sad story. You're responsible for healing that story. And they
Yeah.
think that's love. It's not, it's codependency. Real authentic intimacy is being able to have the vulnerability to be on the same wavelength with somebody to say, I got a lot of bullshit I'm bringing into this relationship, and I'm going to own it. And I need you to be patient with me. And when I'm operating with a blind spot and I'm not seeing it, I need you to call me out.
Yeah. Smart.
That's real powerful communication, whether it's a romantic relationship or a deep friendship, family, or even professional. I'm working now with a lot of companies that want to have more authentic communication. And I say, okay, how authentic do you really want to get?
Yeah.
Because people say they want authenticity,
Yeah.
but a lot of people, as you know, love to say the big words, the key words at the moment, but what does it actually mean? And so, since I was a kid, long winded answer, I know I'm coming back. Since I was a kid, being on the outside looking in, watching people and their body language,
Hmm.
watching them change their body language depending on who they're talking to, which is not integrity. Integrity is the same person. Are you the same person in every room that you walk into?
Yeah.
Every person you're talking to, whether they have money, whether they don't have money, and can they help your career or not, do you still talk to everyone exactly the same?
Hmm.
That's integrity. But watching so many people in leadership positions in my religious upbringing not be in integrity. Say one thing on the stage, but then off the stage at home be a very different person. And I got a very early education on that with my ability to watch body language. And so, living in a quiet world, when I take my hearing aids out at night, everything goes quiet. Laying there in bed as a kid, I would just replay the entire day in a very quiet world, asking, um, why did I feel the need to say that today? Why did I behave that way? So
How
I was
young were you when you were having these conversations?
5, 6.
Wow, that's crazy self-reflective for such an age.
It was. I was a very sober kid too. I dealt with a lot of self-esteem issues, but that the skill of introspection, and it's a skill because if everyone could do it, they would.
Yeah.
But they don't. And I think you've learned the more and more you go into self-development work of accountability, introspection, reflection, the more and more you realize that not many people have the skill of insight and self-reflection. And so it's been a lonely world, but it's also been rewarding, again, for platforms like this that you're building, finding the small percentage of people, the 10% in the world, who are into self development, who are asking the deeper questions of why are we actually here? What are we trying to accomplish? I don't believe that death is a finite thing. I believe in eternal progression. I believe in constant growth. And sometimes growth is contraction. That's what the universe is, expansion and contraction. And we have to have it. And I believe in that. And I know the people in your following that are listening to this now, a lot of them, if not all of them, are big into growth. Because otherwise, if we're not growing, then what the hell are we even doing? Why are we even here? And so those questions are questions I've been asking since I was a kid. And
Is it like something your parents gave you or because you were in the religion?
no, the religion did not have a lot to do with it because
Okay.
the religion, my religion, in such a cult mentality where they operate in absolute truths,
Oh, really?
we're God's chosen people. You know, everyone else is a Gentile or not going to heaven. That creates a comfort zone. The absolute truth creates a comfort zone that says, I'm safe. I don't
Yeah.
have to do any real hard questions in my head. I don't have to ask too many questions or wonder where's this all going
Yeah.
because I have a prophet telling me what's going to happen and everything's going to be okay. And so, no, it didn't come from religion, but my mother was not raised in this cult. Her mom joined when she was 15. But my mom, her father, my maternal grandfather, was a man who raised her on the truth or the expression that thoughts are things.
If you like this episode, you can check out our most recent one here. And if you haven't already, make sure you click here to subscribe and see the next one. But if you're interested in more tips and tricks, then make sure to join our Facebook group where you can find thousands of like-minded people and you get direct access and support to any business question from the entire startup funding event team.